Last week, I couldn't even see me. So last week I was setting my schedule and then I had to, I forgot where I had to go last week. But anyway, I had to leave early and I saw Rodney on my schedule and I tried to reschedule him. He was like, hey bro, I'm coming from Oklahoma City to Texas to cut off my locks. How long you had, bro?
Since 4th grade.
Since the 4th grade. How many years is that? He just graduated high school. Congratulations. So that's like, what, how many years is that?
8.
8 years? 8 years. The thing's long too. So yeah, we cutting them off today, man. All of this. My on time, bro? Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, bro. So bro got a head full of hair. So what kind of cut we getting?
Give me a tape.
He getting tape in face. He been getting waves. He came in with the brush. So he ready to get it right at the chop. So you found me on YouTube. Bro, I appreciate you driving way out here to Texas. So we gotta make sure we get you right, man. Well, you got some thick hair. Oh, yeah, you got smooth wave pattern too. Yeah, curly. So without further ado, let's go and get to it. So we finna go and chop these things off, man. You keep them? Yeah, keep them. All right, keep them. You wanna cut the first one, bro? Yeah. Yeah, all right, baby. Hold it. You see? Here you go. Cut it right. Can you see it? Right. You got it perfect. Cut that thing off, man. Good stuff. Okay, welcome back, you guys. Today, this will be a legendary tutorial/transformation. So, for either reason, whichever one you hear, you're gonna enjoy it if you just stick around. I'm going to spend the first few minutes as I cut the locks off, breaking down what to expect from the video, what I'm doing from the video, his type of hair, and just how we're going to transform this and maximize this experience. This is Rodney. He just graduated high school, so congratulations to him for that. Him and his brother actually drove all the way from Oklahoma City. They drove 3.5 hours just to get this haircut. He contacted me, and I'm very humbled and appreciative of it, and I want to make this the best experience for him possible. Rodney, the reason he's cutting his hair off is because he's going into the Air Force, straight out of high school, so it's causing a different look in the transformation. So we're going to make this perfect for him, I promise. You guys are going to love this video. So if you notice, before I cut, I stretch. What I'm doing is I'm finding where the lock ends. I want to make sure I cut that total lock off. If I leave any lock when I'm combing his hair out, it won't really comb through properly because he still has locks in there. And I also don't want to take any length away from the lock itself because he wants to keep him. He wants to keep him, maybe a keepsake, maybe for later in life, I don't know. But I want to make sure he keeps as much of the lock as possible. And the new growth, we'll comb that out, then cut it at the end. All right. So that's pretty much what I'm doing now. I'm just stretching and cutting, finding where it grows. I'm being very careful with his lock because he wants to keep them. So Rodney's getting a taper fade, a low taper fade. He has very dense hair. He has a great curl pattern. You can't tell his hair is actually very soft. Look at those locks. So with his hair being soft, it's going to make my job easier when it's time to do the cutting after the wash. And when I say dense, per inch he has a lot of hair, which is a great thing. He has a head full of hair with very tight curls, perfect for waving. Now after I initially cut the locks off, I'm going to comb through the hair first. I'm going to cut it down to about a 3. The reason I'm going to cut it down to a 3, leave it kind of long, is because while I'm washing, I'm going to brush and wash with a hard brush. What they're doing is I'm actually massaging and actually teaching their hair to lay back down into that wave pattern. Now he won't have the thickest, deepest waves off the back, but he has a natural curl pattern, which remember, a wave is nothing but a compressed, laid down curl. What I'm doing is I'm coaching their hair back into the wave position that he desires. So that's why I need that 3 first. It's hard to do that when your hair is shorter. So I need it long first. Teach their hair to lay down into their wave pattern. Then once I get them out the wash, I'll blow dry it. Then I'll cut it down to 1.5, or about a 1 to start them off. actually let him cut his last lock off. Let him cut the first in the lab. I think it was only right that he did the honors. And if you can see the look on his face, first off, he's a very laid-back kid. But I think at first it definitely was tough for him to speak. I talked to him as we went along, and it was a tough decision, but he had a bigger choice that he wanted to make in life. So eventually, he liked it, but at first it was definitely tough on him. All right, so what I'm doing now is I'm actually coating their hair with water. The reason water is a universal activator and solvent. Everything dissolves or softens in water. So to loosen his hair up, I'm going to comb it before I cut through the hair, because I don't want to break off any hair. I don't want to damage his ends. So the water actually lubricates the hair, so that way I can comb through. Now I'm taking my 3, I'm stretching. See, tip, anytime you cut any kind of fro, if you stretch or part the hair with your fingers, what it does, it makes it easier for you to start that initial cut of the fro without pulling the hair. So yeah, I'm just cutting down to a 3, getting off any small piece of lock that I didn't get, and I'm about to get ready for this wash. So I'm just cutting it down, getting those little baby locks at the bottom, and I'll see you guys soon. Okay, so for this process, I'm going to shampoo. I'm going to double lather, so I'm going to put 2 coats of shampoo on his hair. I'm going to brush with a hard brush first. I want to get that pattern in there. The way the curl pattern is already there. I just have to lay it down and train it to lay a certain way. Now, he's not going to leave here with the greatest 360 waves, but he's going to have a great starting vantage point, okay? So first I'm going to massage the scalp, loosen those hair follicles up, relax the hair, and open up those cuticles, which is the outer layer of the scalp. So that's the double coat right there. And now I'm just going to brush, okay? Hard brush first with the round brush in, just to stretch and spread those waves. Lay them down. It's been 8 years his hair hasn't laid this way. 8 years. So I'm probably going to watch it like 15 minutes and brush. Obviously, I'm not going to show that whole thing here, but I'm going to brush it with the round end. Then I have his hard brush, and I'm going to lay it down with the soft brush just to get him started, okay? It's a process, but if you do this technique, I promise his hair will lay so much smoother, and it'll make your job cutting so much better, and that cut will come out phenomenal. Wait till you guys see the end. You're going to love it, but just brush and see. I'm brushing in the 360 pattern that he would like, from the crown all the way down to the edge up, just to massage the hair and give him a starting vantage point, okay? A great vantage point. All right, so I might look very aggressive or messy while I'm brushing his hair, but I have to be quite aggressive just to get that wave pattern in there. Like I said, he has very thick hair, and I want to make sure I lay it down and get that curl pattern nice and activated. So after I wash it, first I dry with the towel. It's going to be a little damp, but the reason, it's going to be a lot of brushing in this process. Just like I said, we're still training the hair. But I'm going to cut it down first to a 1.5, about a 1 open on my walls. The reason I'm going to cut it kind of damp first, because that water acts as a natural moisturizer. You can get the hair to lay down easier if you cut it a little moist, not thick and cakey, but his hair will lay down much better. He has a tight curl pattern, very thick hair. If I blow dry then cut it first, it'll look bushy first. Now I'm going to cut it down for about a layer, and then I'm going to come back with the blow dryer, and then I start to do my work that way. But as you can see, I'm cutting in a 360 motion as well, starting from the crown all the way down to the edge up. All right, peeling it in layers. You can see those waves. You probably can't tell from this angle if you zoomed in, but he has a very good wave pattern. Once we lay it down and we get it coached up, it's going to look phenomenal. He has the perfect hair texture for fading as well. You guys will see. But I love the thick density of his hair. Very tight curls. I love tight curls. All right, so you guys watch. I'm going to cut it down, and I'm going to come back and blow dry it, and blow dry it and brush at the same time. So as you can see, look at that one on my walls. I'm laying it flat to the scalp. All right, I want to make sure this hair is very even. Another thing you have to understand, he's going to have thicker patches of hair. His hair is going to be denser in some areas than others because he's had locks for 8 years and his hair is used to bunching. All right, so you guys see, I'll show you techniques to work through all of that. But for right now, I'm laying it down and I'm cutting it. Not too fast with my stroke on the clippers, but a nice smooth pace. I'm hitting that edge up very well because his hair curls on the edge up more than any other area, okay? So you guys watching, I'll see you soon. Okay, so after I get the hair cut down to about a 1.5, a lot of brushing. Now I have the soft end of the brush. There's no reason for me to hard brush anymore because his hair is low. I'm going to soft brush. See, there's a thick spot right there where I'm brushing. The thick spot kind of on the bottom of the temple, but I'm tapering that out, so we don't have to worry about that. But I'm brushing, massaging. It's coaching. Unlike when you're coaching an athlete, the more you do repetitions on a certain skill or fundamental, the better it is. So the more I brush, the better. See, those waves are forming really, really well. All right, I'm blow drying down toward where the hair grows. I don't want the hair to stick up. So technique, always brush with the growth pattern of the hair. Okay, so now it's time for the fun stuff. It's time to chop. See him smiling there? Getting happier. All right, so now I'm taking my Slimline Pro LI. I'm doing the low tempo taper. So I'm not taking that taper up to the top of the ear. He has a narrow edge up. So his 90-degree angle from the bottom of the temple isn't very wide, that area of margin, so I'm not gonna go too high. My primary line is low. My secondary line, if you look, is at the top of the ear, not too much more. And now I work that primary line out. So while I'm working the primary line, what I'm using my Fabulous Pro FX. Very sharp, smooth clipper. As you can see, I'm stretching the skin. So whenever you have a small workspace, sometimes it can throw you off or it's easier to mess up. That's why you have to make the workspace bigger. And you can do that by stretching the skin. So now that I'm knocking that primary line out, I'll move to the back. I'm moving sections and phases. All right, so now again, I'm going to clear that bottom neck hair off. I'm going to give myself smooth guideline to start with, okay? So this is all excess hair. He wants a nice smooth taper. I'm going to keep the taper below the nape of the neck, on the nape of the neck, below the occipital bone. All right, and to do that, I need a nice even line across the back, okay? It's very important. I believe in hard lines because it gives me symmetry. I don't worry about not being able to take out the hard line because whatever I put it in with, I can take it out with. It just takes time and great technique. All right, so now after I get that primary line in, I'll come back with my Fabulous FX and put my secondary line in. Again, it's all about phases. The neater your workspace, the easier it is for you to make these transitions, okay? I never just go straight into it. Now, again, all I'm doing right now is taking that primary line out. So remember, when taking the line out, you don't want to create another line. So this is still a fade. I'm not just cutting all the way up to the secondary line. I'm actually fading in and just taking out the primary line. So a lot of my fading is just flicking, not full clipper strokes as you can see, and I'm using the corner of the clipper quite a bit. Sometimes you have to learn to utilize the whole clipper itself, and sometimes that means utilizing the clipper in pieces or parts. Sometimes you don't have to lay the clipper flat on the scalp. Remember, if you lay the clipper flat or the blade flush onto the scalp, you take off more hair. Now, when I do my flicking motion with the blade off the scalp, it takes off less hair and I can control how much comes off at one time. Now that his hair is cut lower, you should be able to see those denser or thicker patches of hair that I was speaking of. It's perfectly normal, especially when you've had your hair so long. But all I'm going to do is debulk. If you watch my other videos, debulking is a method that I'm very big on, and it helps out tremendously. All right, so as you can see, I'm hitting certain areas, And what I'm going to do is actually take my 1.5 against the grain, and now I'm debulking just to thin out that hair and to make it even. The thinner the area, the easier to fade. It's a method that I believe in. Now, after I debulk, I'm going to come with my 1 against the grain, and I'm debulking again. Essentially, I debulk 3 or 4 times, and I'm going to blend it in one step using my master's clippers. So the steps might sound like quite a bit, but it makes it so much easier, and it gives you a flawless blend. So patience. Cutting hair is not a quick sport. You know what I'm saying? It's patience. It's art. Art takes time. All right. So as I'm debulking certain areas, I'm using the corner of the blade. Certain areas may need to be debulked more than others. And I use my comb when I debulk because I want to stretch and spread that hair apart. Very essential that you understand that. You don't want the hair clumped as you're debulking because you don't want to take off hair from a section that you don't need to. Alright, so now I brush to lay the hair back down. Debulk again. My debulking is pretty much done, so now I'm just cleaning and teaching the hair as I go. Alright, after I debulk, I'm going to come back with my masters and just smoothly take the hair off. So now it's time to bring 2 sections together. All I'm doing is I'm laying the clipper flush, taking my time. The strokes don't have to be fast. They have to be smooth. They have to be effective. Okay, effective is everything. I can actually see the hair go through the blade. All right, and I'm hitting specific spots. Sometimes as I watch younger barbers, I notice they just fade because they know they're supposed to be fading. I'm hitting an area. If his hair grows at an angle, I'm cutting at that angle. If you can see that I'm using the corner of the clipper on certain spots because I might need to hit a smaller area and not that whole circumference of that whole region right there, okay? Know what you're hitting and don't just swing, all right? So now, it's pretty much, you can see, it's going in. Look at the corner of the clipper. Look at that corner blade at the top. That's all I'm using. His hair kind of grows towards his ear, and I'm brushing and combing towards that way or cutting towards that way. Now I debulk again. After I get that fade in there, now I can find certain areas that look a little dark that I need to hit again. He has an area right there on the corner right behind his ear. His hair, his hair kind of dents in there, but so it makes the hair right there. So it looks a little thicker. I'll come back and take that out and clean it. Now that the back taper is initially done, I'll come back at the end of the cut and look for certain areas. It's time to move to the temple taper or the side. It's called the temple taper because it's usually below or on the temple of the head, which is right above the eyebrow corner. All right, so now I start again, same method. I debulk slowly. Now, see right there, I just hit that real quick. Now I can debulk on the side with the brush because his hair kind of grows the same way. I'm not looking and searching. The hair is spread and it's a little thinner. His hair is usually thinner on the side by the temple anyway. All right, so after a quick debulking session, I'll use my 1 to do the same thing. I'll come with the same method that I use for the back. So I'll let you guys watch. Only difference is I'm stretching a lot more on the side just to give myself a bigger work area, a bigger circumference to work with. All right, you guys watch. I'll be back soon. Okay, so after I get this initial taper in, it's time for the back edge up, okay? Very important. He hasn't had an edge up in a long time in the back, but I want to stretch the skin with my thumb, keep the edge up as far out and natural as possible so I find where the hair grows thickest and stay along that line. When I go behind the ear, I use the corner of the blade, rotate it around the ear. Like I said, just stay far out. I don't want to take it in because when it grows back, I don't want to look crazy. And I just clean those baby hairs up along the neck. And you can see I'm pull the ear down just to keep it low behind the ear. I do the same thing on the back side. Just stay far out, use the blade, and you don't have to press hard. Be very gentle. If you stretch the skin and make that skin tight, it'll be much easier. Now I'll do a cleanup process with that back area, comb a few spots. I look to see that look a little thicker to me. Use the corner of the blade, just some touch-up work. Then it's time for the fun part, the edge up. Okay, so after I get the taper in, he doesn't want the sideburns, we're taking those off. Now before I do the edge up, what I'll do is I'll debulk on the edge up. Right now I'm just cleaning up some spots in that taper. Little stuff bothers me, so I gotta clean that, you guys, okay? All right, now I'm debulking on the edge up. See, I'm debulking around the head. Like I said, his hair, I said earlier in the video, his hair grows really curly around the edges of his hair. Now I'm going to use a warm rag to lay their hair down. There's another method I do. I want to open and soften those cuticles, which is the outer layer of the hair. All right, first I slather or I put a generous amount of gel along the edge up. The reason I do this before I put the hot rag on sometimes is because I want that gel to swell in those cuticles to totally soften their hair up as much as possible. Give me a total experience. Let their hair soak. You can see the fumes you can see the hot water or the warm fumes from the rag, okay? Now I take it off after letting it sit for about 30 seconds or so, and I'm massaging their hair. It's a process for his hair. It's been 8 years. All right, so after we get that done, now it's time for the edge up. After this brush, now it's time for the edge up. Okay, now about the brush. Hold on, give me a second. Now it's time for the edge up. Now I'll reapply more gel, Elegant Shave Gel, because I wiped off most of it. And now I'm stretching the eyebrow, stretching the top of the head, keeping the edge up natural. His hair may be thinner in spots, but after you edge it up, it'll lay good. So I find the thick spots. See, I'm using the corner of that blade on the edge up, and I pull it down, getting those baby hairs. See, once you wipe the baby hairs off, it actually makes the hair look thicker. Now I'm stretching, using just the blade to make that curve, okay? I'm keeping it low as well. So you guys watch me edge, and I'll be back very soon. Man, this is gonna turn out so fire. Ooh-wee. Just wait for it. So after I finish the edge up, I go back and clean up little certain small spots. I didn't get really good footage of me edging the other side because I didn't realize my back was in the camera. But you guys are gonna see both sides on the finishing clips. See, this is what I'm talking about. I did a horrible job. But man, here it goes. You guys ready to see the final result? I'm gonna show you the before and the after. Man, I hope you love it. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much. Enjoy. GameChanger out. I said and done. You like? Okay, at least you saw it and smiled. All right.